Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Richard Lewis Show. Haven't done one of these for a while because both me and Sam have been doing independent solo projects, I guess for want of a better word.
Solo albums.
Yeah, solo albums. But the band is back together. Where the fuck have you been, mate?
I've been working at Gfinity, doing replays, mate. I am the replay guru. And then I do their Elite Series, and then I did 2 days of Formula One replays. That was crazy.
Formula One?
Yeah, Formula One have this like esports series where they have these sim races. You race in the track, and you have tyre pressure, and you've got a pit and shit like that. I just did the replays for that as well.
So when are you leaving esports to go and do something worthwhile with your life?
They're taking me to Abu Dhabi, I think, in November to go to the finals, mate. So
I will attend your execution. I will be there, mate. I will be there. Yeah, what's he guilty of? Yep. The drugs, the booze.
Get him out.
Short skirts. I'll be there, mate. I'll be there. I will throw the big rock at the end. You know, the one, the finisher, you know what I mean? I don't even know, actually. Did they stone people in Abu Dhabi? I feel like I might be wrong. You should look at what you should know, mate.
Who knows? There are rules, like you're not allowed to drink in the open, I've been told. Like e-cigarettes, the little fucking vapey things. Those are just completely banned, apparently. But you're allowed to smoke, but just not those.
Yeah, they want you to get cancer, basically. Yeah.
Do it the old-fashioned way. Don't be a fucking nerd. Take it on the chin.
Don't be a pussy. I'm down with that, mate. So, look, before we get into the show, let's just talk about why we were playing music that I'm sure was before a lot of people's time.
Still fire, though. Still bad.
At the top of it's straight fucking fire. Leadbelly is a fucking baller. And you should go look up Hudson. Willie Ledbetter, I believe, is his full name. Anyway. Whole point is that Twitch are doing this weird thing at the moment. Now, look, we've known for a long time that if you play music on a stream, right, you know, obviously because of copyright laws, it might get muted. You can get into trouble for doing it, this kind of stuff. But like lately, there's been a big spate of like bannings and people complaining about it and people saying they're being banned for reasons that don't quite make sense. And the Twitch head of partnerships, a guy called Hassan, if you've ever heard of this guy, put out like some tweets that were like kind of, you know, a bit forceful, which I thought was interesting. You know, he started saying that, look, it's a DMCA. If you play any music and anyone complains about it, your account will be down. You know, end of story. It's always been like that, which of course we know is a lie. Twitch have been very lenient in the past, and actually one of the reasons they brought in the content ID detection was because they didn't ban people for playing music. You know, that people would just do it. Now, I've said for years streamers shouldn't play music in the background, you know, while they're doing the gameplay and broadcasting and stuff like that. We typically play a few songs before we get into it, just while people are filtering in, because it's better than just having a flat screen. But from now on, we'll use music that's in the public domain, which legally is anything before 1928. But I thought it was really weird that they sort of took this like harsh stance now. And there's shit going on. There's like definitely something going on at Twitch where I'm a little bit suspicious about this. I don't trust them to enforce it consistently across the board. Because if you did ban every Twitch streamer that played music on the Twitch platform,
you would automatically lose your biggest numbered streamers immediately for a start. Like, all the huge streamers, the PUBG streamers always have music on.
So, yeah, you know, and I gotta say, I think it's like just a weird sort of stance to take. It's clearly going to be one of those things that they use to selectively ban people, right?
Yeah, it's going to be one of those rules that can be bent and shaped, I think.
Yeah, just like you. So, you can be bent and shaped, certainly bent. So I mean, you know, far be it from me as well, because like Twitch have said to me privately, they don't care about slander on the platform. They don't mind if people say things that aren't true about other people. I will just go on the record as saying in that spirit that Hassan is the thirstiest motherfucker on planet Earth. I'll just say that. on the stream as well, because it's okay. It's okay to, if you're a Twitch partner, you can just say whatever you want, and Twitch won't enforce their rules about that because they're not interested in it. So I'll just say that, and then it's all okay, isn't it? So that's how we roll. So anyway, we can get into the show now. This is where I flirt with the rules a little bit more as well, Sam, right? Because there's this show on MTV where the premise of the TV show is that your mate is right. You and a mate go on and you agree to tattoo each other. This is what the world is like these days. Yeah, you basically go on. You have a bet with your mate and you say, look, we'll put tattoos on each other's body. Right, and you're blindfolded while they do the tattooing. Okay, so I mean, first of all, I'd love to do this to you, but this would be great. But I wouldn't want it back.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not worth it, is it? Because I know how bad you'd go, so I'd just be aiming to go way worse, and you just end up trying to battle each other.
No. So what I want you to do is because it was a special request from one of our regs. It was like, you've got to show Sam the video of the show. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's definitely do that. So I'm going to send you a link here, and I just want you to, 3, 2, 1 it as per usual. Right. But it is one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen. It might even be slightly flirting with Twitch rules, but we are an adult content broadcast. This is an adult podcast for 18 plus. So I think it'll be okay, but whatever. Whatever. So just let me know when you're ready to play it, mate.
All right, hang on. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sound.
4, 3,
2,
1.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, that's really good. Can't be banned from belly buttons, you fucking morons. Calm it down.
Ah, fucking hell, mate. Who would fucking sign up for that?
Fucking hell. Fucking hell.
Who would sign up for that? That's so ridiculous.
No, it actually just went, fair play.
Good one, mate.
Fair dues, like.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, you've ruined my life, mate. Good one.
Yeah, done me. Never get a job, me. Like, done me.
Yeah. Good one. Fucking hell. Right, so let's just do a few quick news hits, and then we'll go into some of the kind of more serious stuff. This is from the Plymouth Herald. You'll like this one, Sam, the Plymouth Herald. I'm sure you've read it. Great publication, known for its hard edge, cutting edge journalism. So this is, who saw this coming, Sam? This is the story of an uncle and niece who appeared on the Jeremy Kyle show, had to go to court. Their crime, incest, of course. Incest, of course. They lived together in Cornwall. And a court heard how the pair had a sexual relationship, even though they had been warned it was against the law. Katie Buscombe, who was aged 20 at the time, while the uncle was 52.
52.
Yeah. And they were on like Jeremy Kyle show for like some bio to see if her father was the real father. I think the uncle might have been in the frame for it or something. So that would have been mega unacceptable. But it's just everything about this story is just Cornwall in a nutshell, isn't it? You've got the incest, right? And then it says here, defending barrister Mary McCarthy said her client, who works as a tractor driver, he's been doing some ploughing. Anyway, was extremely sorry and ashamed. She said he was a lonely and isolated man, and added his best friend in his life was his mother. When she died, that's when the drinking started. Yeah, That's not when the incest should have started, though, is it?
Like... That's when his box went.
So yeah, it was absolute fucking nightmare. Someone sent me that. I was like, yeah, bro. Now get this though, because it is one of those, like, it's sort of a victimless crime, I guess, in a way.
Yeah,
you know, it's repellent. They got community orders for 1 year, and Philip had to do 100 hours unpaid work in the community. So there you go. He kind of got away with it for 5 years of incestuous sex with his niece. Small price to pay, some would say. Okay, so what else have we got going on in the news? There was a few other things. Did you see this thing about the beach ball?
No, I don't think so.
Right. Well, let me just find you a better link than this. Beach. Okay, so basically, there was a beach ball placed on a university campus in southern Illinois. All right, and the ball was to represent free speech. And you could write anything you wanted on the beach ball, and it was, you know, a big beach ball. It was bigger than you, mate, and you could roll the beach ball towards people and be like, "Hey, look, here's some, you know, put some free speech on the ball, and this is an exercise. You know, you can exercise your First Amendment rights and feel secure doing so." Well, such is the state of the modern student, the modern millennial. People got
bad. Is this someone not allowed?
Yes, people got scared of the beach ball, so they called campus police to say they felt threatened.
Beach ball, I need help.
Yeah, to say they felt threatened by the giant beach ball and the nasty things written on the beach. And even though it directly violates the First Amendment of the people involved, the police came and said that if people didn't remove the beach ball from the public space, they would destroy the beach ball. So here you go. This is a video of it, courtesy of Campus Reform, which of course is a website that sort of tracks the madness you get on campuses these days. Happy to 3, 2, 1 this. Strap yourself in. It's 6 months of absolute insanity. You'll enjoy it, I'm sure. Ready when you are.
Boot him up. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
But I'm saying you're out here for conference. Who are you out here for conference? I'm saying just you out here, or like you two are out here, you and this gentleman are out here.
Yeah, we're just out here being Americans, you know.
Just out here being Americans.
What'd you say?
From Turning Point USA and Young Americans for Liberty.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. I'd like, are you two together? Is what it kind of
yeah, sorry.
Okay,
that's three of us.
So, this is not considered like a public place. This is something we have to get permission to do this from the university.
What do you mean?
So, and we can go figure out.
You have to give permission for free speech.
Right now, we have to
apparently so, because
don't sound that free to me, bro.
Whenever, like, we have other people here that are in the.
It's as loud as it goes, boys.
Talking about people who don't even mean.
No, sure.
So.
But so is there a policy here then that just inhibits people from using free speech on a public place?
But I don't think it's considered a public place.
But does the state own the university?
It does.
Okay.
So anyway, we can go. Basically, we have to sign up for people to be able to demonstrate here because it's causing problems. Students are calling in.
Okay. What do you mean?
Students are calling in because they're scared of a beach ball. And we're two fucking mall cops.
Yeah, I know.
That have come in. Yeah, just look at them like.
People scared of the beach ball.
Yeah.
People are reporting that.
Yes. Yes.
What could be scary about the beach ball? I can't interpret other people's feelings.
I can't interpret people's mental illnesses. I'm not sure.
I understand that.
I'm a policeman, not a psychologist.
You guys want to have your ball here and you're advocating free speech, but we also have universal policies we have to follow.
So there's no free speech.
I'm sorry, sir?
There's no free speech? It's the policy of the university.
No free speech, though.
So there's no free speech. I'm just saying that
that's
it's
not
policy of the
how I would
university that you have to get clear.
Right now.
How could you not interpret that?
we're gonna have to go and put the ball away, and then we can go ahead and figure out,
put the ball away.
How to follow the policy.
Sir, take your hands off the ball, sir. Sir, don't reach for that ball.
No, sir.
Taser, taser, taser.
He's reaching.
Slightly, I understand where they're coming from, but as Americans, and I don't want to.
I'm not gonna.
They do love saying that though. I hate when I see those videos like, I am American.
Everybody else around here has rights
Yeah.
also, and they have a right to go to and from class and not feel intimidated by what
Beach
you're
balls.
representing.
No, I understand.
Is that a load up ball, or how does that work?
I don't know. How do we get that thing hooked up?
We have an air compressor.
Okay.
Just drop that there.
Oh, why are the police here?
Good question.
Not 100% sure.
Yeah, very good question.
I mean, we're just honest God. We're just out here promoting.
We're just American.
First Amendment rights.
And I appreciate that as a student of SIUE that we pick it. But we obviously
Probably can't.
Can you legally arrest us for promoting the First Amendment?
No, nor would I.
Okay.
Arrest you.
No,
But I
understand
only
you
have
guys
to
doing
look
your
out
job.
for what you guys are thinking and feeling, but also what the rest of the students are thinking and feeling.
sure.
While that wouldn't offend me, I can't dictate how that would make somebody else feel.
Sure. I understand.
I should say as well, just to everyone watching, just be prepared. You are about to see the beach ball, so trigger warning. Yeah, I know. This will be what gets us
Gonna
banned.
bring me back.
We would have to take the ball
Yeah.
from you.
An
Summer
alt-right
of
beach ball.
2006. That beach ball slapped me in the face.
Basically, you would have to go to student affairs. I'd take your information. We have to go to student affairs, and they would have to address it to you guys. You know what I'm saying? It's a university policy.
Fuck being that policeman. Though. Imagine if you're just on like call, just like, yeah, we got some reports about people being scared of a beach ball. Just like, oh fuck my life.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel sorry for him if he wasn't like effectively arguing against the fucking First Amendment, and clearly he doesn't even know what.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's like, well, I don't want to talk about the First Amendment. Well, you probably should. Look at that guy in the background, fucking PC principal there.
Trying to activate a club here that promotes
My safe space.
kind of on the flip side, extort policy versus put in place against the constitutional rights of American. So we're just getting people to sign the law and then getting some contact info. And
So you guys can kind of get it started.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can take that.
It'd be like the Peace for Liberty Club.
Yeah, no, I got you. Can I get some information from you?
My name is Nathan Williamson.
Probably what I'm going to do is I'll get back in contact with
Probably what we have to do is put you in some sort of database. Here we go, get ready. Ah! Ah!
Oh Jesus!
It's got words on it!
Jesus! By God! Oh come on, show me some of the disgusting things that are on it. I bet it'll just be like, love yourself. I'll tumble a course.
Yeah,
over it.
All us illegally say, I'm worried about getting to and from class.
What? What? Just because the beach ball goes rogue?
We're gonna have to deflate the beach ball in case it goes attack of the killer tomatoes on some.
To protect
Anyway.
it from itself.
You can kill it there. They just deflate the ball. It's kind of sad. So anyway, so that's again, like people. I find it interesting. I see a lot of people who say, oh, like sort of the rise of like aggressive political correctness, the sort of erosion of First Amendment rights in America on American campuses. I see a lot of people argue that actually, if you talk about that and you're just like ragging on social justice warriors, as they're called, or whatever, it's pathetic. It's not a valid thing to be annoyed about because, they don't have any real institutional power. Well, again, I do think there's something very disturbing indeed about the idea of going to a campus, having what is effectively a petition, a novelty petition, to get students to say that they support the First Amendment, freedom of speech, in case you're not American.
I'm just being Americans. And speech.
Yeah, and the police, campus police, that's police paid for by a private business, effectively, are enforcing the complaints of other students on the basis of nothing legal, just that they feel a little bit threatened. And unfortunately, we see this all the time. We've had campuses shut down and people investigated because somebody threw a banana peel into a tree. And and that person that did that had to come out and apologize for racism, even though he said, I just couldn't find a trash can, but I didn't think before I threw away the banana. Do you know what I mean? This isn't. If we are saying that universities aren't important in the grand scheme of things, then that's fine. I guess nobody should ever attend one, and they're not institutions of any value. We should certainly defund them then. Or we could look at what universities actually are, which is an area where people get educated. And very often, you'll have your elite level universities go on and create all of the future leaders and future politicians, future doctors, future lawyers. So their ideology will certainly trickle down and permeate into the culture. So I've never bought the argument that, like, oh, if it isn't legislation, it's not worth arguing about. But yeah, so there you go. Radical beach balls on campus. Now, let's talk about something even more fucking stupid than that. Rick and Morty, mate.
I know.
Rick. Yeah.
All these people are just ruining my show. Like, I can't even say, oh, yeah, I like Rick and Morty. Like, oh, are you one of those monks? Like, literally, I told someone, you're not one of them, are you? I was like, no, I'm not. I just like the show.
Now, listen, I certainly like the show. I think it's one of the better animated series of the last few years. I think it's good. It's worth the critical acclaim. But what sort of happened is somewhere along the line, it's generated a fandom of people, and they've missed the fucking point, Like this happens sometimes with things, like with bands, or it was like when Nirvana, right? Since we played Lead Belly at the start, I guess it's a tenuous enough link. But Kurt Cobain always said that Smells Like Teen Spirit was meant to be like an ironic song. It was a joke. It wasn't meant to be their big hit single. It was aimed at like jocks and stuff who got into rock, and it was meant to be a complete parody of that sort of mainstream rock movement. And it went on to be one of the biggest mainstream rock hits of all time because people missed the fucking point, because people are fucking stupid. I mean, that's just the unfortunate reality, isn't it? Like a person as an individual can probably be made to understand things, but when they mob up and there's this like shared hysteria about something that's meant to be good, and if you don't like it, you're inferior in some way, and there's all this pressure with social media and social environments where you all must share a common opinion. Anybody who is an outlier gets, look at all the things we have. You get blocked, you get downvoted, you get ostracized. Everything these days is set up in a way that penalizes dissenting opinion. That's it. And this obviously is now starting to be reflected in schools and certainly fandoms, which go more and more extreme because people are like, yeah, I'm the biggest fan. Ha, I got it before you did. Ha, I'm a fan. And they go completely over fucking board. So one of the episodes of Rick and Morty, right, did this whole, it was the one they leaked early on April Fool's Day, had this whole bit about how Rick Sanchez, he was all doing it for McDonald's Szechuan sauce, which was a limited release as a Mulan tie-in, because McDonald's and Disney used to do Happy Meal tie-ins and themed meals. And so yeah, they did this whole bit where like Rick and Morty said, "Oh, it wasn't about my family or anything else. I was making it up. It was all just because I want to get McDonald's to bring back this Szechuan sauce." Now, the point of the joke isn't that the Szechuan sauce is amazing. I know a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, the joke is it was over nothing, like something so minimal. Like what? That was what this was for. That's supposed to be the joke.
Yeah, the joke is that that Rick is so sort of empty and soulless and vacuous, despite his intellect, that he would go to all of these ridiculous lengths just to bring back something as ephemeral and throwaway as a limited edition McDonald's sauce. That is the point of the joke. It's to show that his character is deeply flawed on a core level. That's the joke. And people don't get the fucking joke, do they? So people think it's because people think it's because of the sauce being amazing. That's the conclusion Rick and Morty fans have arrived at, or this subsection of the fandom. Now, McDonald's, they don't miss an opportunity to kind of market and stuff. And I was surprised because I thought this might actually be some sort of like meta marketing, like a tie-in.
Yeah, I thought when I saw that it was some sort of sponsored thing. But apparently, like it's a running joke or something that they've joked with the Szechuan sauce, so then they included it.
Yeah, so it wasn't. McDonald's knew nothing about it. It wasn't planned. There was never going to be any Rick and Morty Happy Meals or anything like that. But then McDonald's identified an opportunity and said, hey, guys, we're going to bring the sauce back. We're going to bring the sauce back. All right? So good on them. What could possibly go wrong after all? It is merely Szechuan sauce. Well, Sam, people being people, mobs being mobs, morons being morons, you end up with incidents like this, as reported in The Guardian. We want sauce! Police called over McDonald's Rick and Morty promotion. The failure to provide enough special edition Szechuan dipping sauce has led to chaotic scenes at fast food outlets across America. Now, you'll remember I think it was on an episode of I Hate It here, we did a story where there was like a riot in a fast food outlet because they were out of chicken nuggets, and people had just lost their motherfucking minds because we live in a society where instant gratification is everything. We've peddled the lie that the customer is always right. No. Definitely not true. Definitely not true. You can be. But if you're being an unreasonable prick, you're not right, ever.
Yeah, and also, when they say that, right, I feel that phrase comes from, like, tailors who are selling a $10,000 suit. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's invested in you, then you're like, oh, yes, of course, sir, of course. Like, you want to, because you want them to come back. It doesn't apply to you getting a fucking burger. Like, I don't give a fuck if you come back or not, mate. I'll spit in your food if you just keep being a rat.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it, right? So the idea the customer is always right. I want some chicken nuggets. Sorry, sir, we're all out of chicken nuggets today. I'm terribly sorry about that. Perhaps I can give you an alternative and with a discount. No, I demand my chicken nuggets. Get a manager out here. Well, sir, I'm happy for you to speak to the manager, but the manager cannot, go in the back and do a magic spell, sim, salabim, and make more chicken nuggets. But if you want to talk to the manager to articulate your complaint, I'm happy to do that for you. So you go and you get the motherfucker with 2 stars, not 1. And he comes out, right, and fucking says, sorry, sir, I understand you've got a complaint. Yes, I demand chicken nuggets, and I'm not leaving till I get some. But, sir, we don't have any. In what world is that customer right? in what world is he right? You do not have a right to something that is out of stock. That is an absurd fucking stance for anybody. That customer isn't right. He's actually a cunt, you see, because and is being unfucking reasonable, in a way that shouldn't be congratulated. And if that guy, what that people will do now is they go on social media, right, and they tweet at the fucking corporate account run by some sad little intern. I demand, and then they go, oh, please DM me your
so we will give you some free voucher. You fucking meth.
Yeah, it's unreal, isn't it? So this idea that the customer is always right is part of the problem as well. But anyway, a bunch of Rick and Morty fans turned up to McDonald's restaurants and they were like just chanting, "We want sauce." Now here you go. There's a 14-second video embedded in that story. Play it. You can hear them. Listen to this shit.
Thing is, as well, but these people realize McDonald's didn't invent Szechuan sauce, like.
No, I know.
It is just a sauce. Like
but they want the Rick and Morty sauce because they think it'll make them a genius, like Rick. Yeah. So yeah, just play the Twitter. No need to 3, 2, 1 it. It's just 14 seconds of retards chanting "We want sauce."
You need care. You need care. You need care.
Right, this is the madness. There was over 1,000 people camped outside of that local McDonald's, and they only had 70 tubs of sauce.
That is a fuck up, to be fair. Like, if you're going to go on this big promotion, you should at least go ham.
It's limited edition, that's the point. They probably weren't expecting an angry mob to fucking defend. Like, it's Frankenstein just killed the fucking girl by chucking her in the... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And then just look at all the tweets here. Right? McDonald's, you suck. Only 10 posters and 20 packets of Szechuan sauce. It's limited edition, first come, first served. Do these consumer concepts not mean anything to you? Not everyone gets one. You fucking mugs. Right? So it doesn't end there. I wish the madness did end there, mate, but of course it doesn't. Right? So I'm going to give you an example of one such... Well, no, I've got a couple of examples here of people being completely stupid. So we've got this here. Just listen to this guy. This guy it's unacceptable in my opinion. Guy took to Twitter to record a video. We'll definitely 3, 2, 1 this, Sam, because I know you're going to be absolutely buckled.
All I can see is his chin, man. It started well, like.
Right, yeah. Oh, it's starting well. So yeah, just drop me the timer.
3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
You know, typically I'm not that guy that would complain over something petty and just dumb as, you know, dipping sauce, but it's become a little bit more than that. It's become Szechuan Gate, as far as I'm concerned. That's what I'm labeling it as. Your website was very clear that certain locations were going to have posters and sauce. Now, looking at the website, I checked my local town, and there were 2 McDonald's saying that they would participate. I even went back to check and see if there was a fine print saying that there were only going to be locations that had posters or sauce, just whatever. But no, it was very clear that they would have both. When arriving to said McDonald's, both had no idea what you were talking about. They didn't have any sauce. A few of them, the one had posters, but no sauce. They never got any. They referred me to another location out of state. Now, being pretty excited and I'm a YouTuber,
some sauce 200 miles that way, mate. Let's get the fuck out of my shop.
Said sauce. So
Don't know about out of state. This cunt's in a state.
When arriving to the other location I was referred to, police were there. There were over
because of unreasonable people like you.
And things were getting crazy out of hand. Frankly, I feel bad for the employees at this point because they were nowhere near ready for the madness that came from any of this. And now it's just a matter of you guys lying. And people pretty upset with that, which they have a right to be.
Do they, though?
Just, this is some Nintendo practice type stuff. That's what happens when you do this quote-unquote limited run type things. And you gotta own up to that.
Own up to what? You know what happens when you do limited runs? You know, limited amounts of people get them, and, you know, you gotta own up to that. No, that was the plan.
No, it is the thing. Some people in the chat are saying some shit that's unacceptable. I'm not laughing at him because he's disabled, right? Which it says in his Twitter bio. Yeah, that's not what we're laughing at. We're laughing at anybody getting worked up to the point where you take...
You recorded a minute and a half, longer than minute 50-second documentary about, I went to this location and I was told there were no posters.
But so don't type shit like that because I don't like people doing that. It's not fucking cool. But yeah, so this guy outraged. How I thought there was going to be more sauce in this limited edition, last minute, not official promotion to get people to go to McDonald's. They sent me out of state. This is an outrage. Right? That's the funny part. So he's not alone. There's people who reacted in a far worse fucking way, of course. Let me see if I can find the other video that we had. Yes, this guy. This comes with a severe cringe warning, more so than the guy from before. This guy really gets into a fucking state about it, and this is one of the things I've ever seen on the internet.
Yeah, this is fucking mental, man. Okay, we're having a 3, 2, 1.
Certainly are, sir.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Wait, you guys know Szechuan sauce? No. I want Szechuan sauce. Where's my Szechuan sauce?
I'm Pickle Rick!
Oh, what the fuck are you doing?
Rick! 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 I'm Pickle Rick! Rick!
What the fuck is in your head?
What the heck? What?
Look at the mother holding her kid. Go to fucking 28, but look how scared.
Miss, you would be.
They're so scared.
Scared.
She hold her tight to her chest like I don't know what's happening.
Scared. Now, some people suggest maybe he's parodying.
It must be.
The whole movement. Doesn't make it any less unacceptable.
Yeah, doesn't make it reasonable.
Doesn't make it reasonable behavior. The fact that he's even doing that is just ridiculous. Can't handle it. Can't handle any of this fucking Rick and Morty bullshit, man.
Why the fuck has McDonald's got pumpkins up already? Grow up. We're only halfway through October. Get your fucking pumpkins down.
So we've got to market everything. Now, the madness doesn't end there. This is Polygon, cutting edge journalism, of course, over at Polygon. They discovered that Rick and Morty fans are buying framed photos of Szechuan sauce, the limited edition Szechuan sauce packets on eBay.
What, the empty packet?
Yes.
How much?
Well, they start at $9.99. That's dollars.
Right.
But actual packets of the sauce are going for upwards of $1,000.
What?
Oh, I know.
These motherfuckers are brain dead, mate. What do you mean?
Yep.
It's a real sauce, mate. Go buy it.
It's
the best part is they watch is like, you gotta have a really high IQ to understand Rick Morty. I'm gonna spend $1,000 on sauce. Yeah, I'm Pickle Rick. Fuck is wrong with you?
Right, okay, well, just before we point out how idiotic these people are, this is going to annoy you, right? So I can already feel your blood boiling. We haven't even got through the worst of this Rick and Morty nonsense.
Maths.
Just prepare, yeah. So, $1,000 to get the sauce. There was a report in Time.com how one Rick and Morty fan traded his car for a tub of the sauce. There was also another story, I think, where someone sold a Porsche or something. So,
what do you do if that's your son, mate? If you've created that seed and you're like, Dad, no, that car I bought, yeah, I traded it. Oh, what do you get?
Can we? Are we still allowed to beat our kids? I don't know what the law is. No, on a serious note, I don't know, man. I mean, it seems, it just seems so far. It's just divorced from reality. I can't understand this. I can't understand wanting to fit in this bad. I don't get it.
Discord keeps cutting out your mic, by the way, but it hasn't done anything major yet. If it does, I'll tell you.
Okay, it might not be Discord.
His own flasher problems.
Yeah, might just be my mic.
Could indeed.
So yes, I can't imagine wanting to fit in that badly. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'd do if that was my kid.
That's what fitting in is.
Well, yeah, because obviously Rick and Morty is a trend, a fad, and people want to be part of that fad. So there you go.
One of my friends told me that they traded that car for a fucking pack of sauce. I just never talked to him again.
Well, it's not all bad. Some people did get ahead of the curve. So while people were trading cars and buying packets of the sauce for over $1,000 on eBay, one person was filmed here. This is an entrepreneur, I guess you could call him. He was selling, again, you can just play this in the background because we don't have to necessarily sync it up or anything. But this guy was selling a nugget dipped in the sauce to people who had queued up in the store. $10 a nugget.
What
so
sauce did you get? I'm looking. I want to see how generous he is with the sausage.
I think it's one dip that covers roughly a third of each nugget.
Hell, he's done the math.
Yeah. So there you go, and you can see he's just pocketing. This is $10 to absolute idiots. Like it's. I mean, look at that guy in the shirt there. Look at him. Look, watch him assess it.
Oh yes, I can taste the IQ. I see what Rick was talking about. Yes.
Cunt has got a 5 head as well, so he's obviously clever. But just mental, isn't it? Right. So okay, that's the fandom. Now, interestingly enough, as a result of all of this, people like myself, and I saw Total Biscuit talk about it as well. But there was a journalist who came out and did a satirical tweet. And the satirical tweet sort of taps into whenever there's a fandom, the games press, the mainstream media, what they do is they come out and they attack the fandom and try and say it's bad and it harasses people and all this stuff, And this tweet here said, and I thought this was pretty funny, even if it did come from a Rolling Stone, Vice, and Gawker journalist. So people actually believe that this person was joking. This is T-Bone O'Sullivan. He said, Rick and Morty is a known Gamergate offshoot. Szechuan sauce is known code in alt-right circles for racial purity. This is a sad day for America. And obviously that is a parody of almost like every hit piece that comes out whenever something gets popular, right?
When he first started reading that, I actually thought it was real. Because when he said Gamergate, I was like, that sounds legit. Have you heard wilder things from these cunts?
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I've heard wilder things from these cunts, but I am fairly confident that this is satire and people miss the point. Now, unfortunately, what happened was almost inevitably after that tweet came out, it opened the floodgates for people literally saying Rick and Morty, Gamergate, and therefore white supremacy are all linked. I wish that wasn't true. But look, let me just see if I can find some of these examples for you. So The Guardian dropped an article about this. Here you can see The Guardian said, I loathe these people, Rick and Morty, and the brilliant backlash against TV's bad fans. Now, if you want to do an exercise, you can just Control F white male, and you'll find that mentioned quite a bit, even though Rick and Morty certainly has nothing to do with race, or there's no racial subtext in any way, shape, or form. For some reason, Gwilym Mumford, who I'm sure is, quite the intellectual, definitely a 200 IQ Rick and Morty fan himself, comes out and starts talking about how, bloody Breaking Bad, everybody hated Skyler because the fans are just scumbags and all this nonsense. But basically, the creator, Dan Harmon, went on a big rant saying that, there was bad fans in the fandom and he thought they were terrible and fuck them for attacking the female writers on the show because they had some new writers join the crew and this kind of thing. But yeah, I was like, I don't know where you're pulling this from. I don't know where you're getting this. From. So I was like, okay. Fair enough. I guess you're just sort of quoting what the creator kind of said and riffing on it. So it'll end there. Couldn't get any worse, could it? Yeah, it could actually. Yes, it could. There was the cunt from Deadspin. So, Deadspin obviously is the another vertical from Gawker. What do you think? The cunt from Deadspin, as I'll just call him. He's got a name probably, but whatever. The deputy editor. Yeah, he's had an alarm that was set for by the numbers. So every Morty fan was part of Gamergate. True fact.
Not true.
Not being satirical. So okay, the floodgates were open. Where could this possibly lead to? Ben Kuchera, everyone's favorite fat beardy goon, he came out and did his own piece about how smart, intelligent fans are the problem. And you'd be like, well, why would they write this? You know, they're games journalists. What has this got to do with anything? Well, of course, it ties into that idea that, it was in Gamergate, gamers were elitist, and it was nothing to do with collusion or the fact that the games industry, the journalism in it is completely corrupt. It's nothing to do with that. These fans are just bad people. And look, we can point to this now and we can show the interlinking. In fact, all of those people jumping up and demanding Szechuan sauce, that's what Gamergate was. Well, of course it wasn't, because one is a promotion that you have no right to whatsoever. There's nothing in the McDonald's small print that says you have a right to Szechuan sauce. However, if you call yourself a journalist, we as consumers certainly have the right to assume you're not going to lie to us. You're not going to take money in exchange for good reviews. You're not going to give good reviews to people you have relationships, sexual or otherwise, with. That's what Gamergate was a revolt against, and therefore it's a completely valid and normal thing. It was a consumer revolt, and it's not about entitlement, it's about expectation. Those are two different things. So they did this big write-up about, look at all these idiots, haha, Gamergate, of course, ha 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 ha. And then it says, like, they've turned into the Fight Club fans who start their own fight club, not understanding that the point of the movie is to show how white male anger is co-opted for violence. It's like, again, no racial subtext to Fight Club whatsoever. That's, if you've read the book, you'll know that. So I find it interesting that a games journalist who's talking about fans who don't understand things quotes a book, not understanding it. Kind of like when Hillary Clinton said 1984 was actually all about why we should give over more power to our leaders and completely trust their judgment. The dumb bitch. But anyway, that's Ben Kuchera in there. So I was kind of like, oh, well, you know, this is what they do. This is how the cycle goes. Where could the Rick and Morty story actually end? Where could it possibly end? Well, here's where it ends. It's a hate movement now. Just like everything else, it's a hate movement, Sam. It's officially been...
As soon as white males are involved, what do you think?
Yeah, true. So here it is. This was in the Telegraph. Rick and Morty Mania. How toxic fans turned a hit cartoon into a hate movement by Chris Stokel Walker. This was yesterday. So this blew my mind reading. First, they came for the female scriptwriters. Then they came for the McDonald's servers. Of course, that is a deliberate tone about the poem, talking about the Nazis and everything else. So there you go. So Rick and Morty fandom has now been declared a hate movement by the Telegraph. I can't wait to see where this goes, actually. So yeah, there we are. Rick and Morty fandom. It's like a vortex of stupidity. People missing the point about an artistic creation, buying into a cynical consumerist attempt to monetize it. Then the media not realizing that those people are just idiots, perhaps not even representative of the majority of the fandom, using it to talk about the things they want to talk about. Pickle fucking Rick. Which, by the way, I think people have... Right, can we all just agree, if anybody ever says, I'm Pickle Rick...
Yeah, no, grow the fuck up.
Well, no, because it's the worst episode ever of Rick and Morty. It's not. It's like the worst episode. It's the least funny. It is the one that least gets the show and the tone of the show. I really feared for where the series was going to go. I was like, this is it. It is the nadir of Rick and Morty episodes. It's absolute garbage. And
the shark episode.
Yeah. And yet, when it came out, there was people just quoting it all the time. I'm a pickle, Morty. Just like, this episode is really, really bad and needs to be forgotten about. It's absolute cancer. So I guess in a week or two, obviously, Rick and Morty fans will be white supremacists. So just prepare yourself for that.
Did you watch the finale as well?
I did.
What are your rates? I reckon average.
Yeah, I mean, it had some decent episodes for sure along the way. But
I mean, it's just the finale, like the last episode.
Oh, yeah. No, it was all right, but yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, basically, the best episodes came in the middle.
Yeah, like the Rick Lantis one was good, and then what was
yeah.
That? The one before it, maybe the Toxins one. I like that. Those two.
Yeah, there were some good ones for sure, but some also not so good ones. So there you have it. Yeah, someone's I've turned myself into a white supremacist.
See it cut out then when he said Morty. Fucking
did it?
Yeah.
It'll just get clipped then, won't it?
Just killing the corpse.
It'll just get clipped.
I've turned into a white supremacist. Morty. That's why I interjected afterwards.
I'm Richard Spencer. It'll just be like, it's just I don't understand why you have to go through this all the fucking time with fandoms. I don't understand. Like, it makes no sense to me at all that people don't understand that once you draw attention to yourself and become like sort of a mainstream cultural phenomenon, that the leftist media are going to attach whatever shit they want to talk about that day to you. You are going to get, you're going to get linked in with the rest of the bad people. Anyway, so what else have we got to talk about? I'm just having to keep one eye on the time. There was another story that caught my eye. We'll just do this as a little quick thing to cleanse the palate, shall we say. So, when I've talked in the past about how Britain has like issues with one of the reason people don't feel safe in Britain, it's not like inherent like racism or Islamophobia or whatever like terminology you want to use. The reason is that we do have real issues when it comes to keeping track of like jihadists and people who come into the country. This is why a lot of people have moved towards calls for stronger immigration control, because in the most recent intelligence report, it was like, what was it, 3,000 known jihadis are in the country right now, and another 5,000 people are on lists that are being monitored and this kind of thing. So I just wanted to cover this story to give an example of why this sort of shit is potentially justified. So there was a person called Mulumabet Gurma, and Mulumabet Gurma was involved in trying to blow people up in Britain. She was involved in a failed bombing attack in London. They were trying to blow up a commuter train with explosives. Her and her brother-in-law, Hussein Osman, and it failed. It didn't work.
Prison
and
for life, then, of course.
Well, 10 years.
That's it.
She served. Yep, she served 10 years for participation in a failed terrorist attack in 2005. Now, after she got out, because she got an early release, she started doing she was working as a customer services assistant. She got a job pretty quickly, despite having come through the prison system. But then this is where it goes mental. She then worked her way up to holding a top job within a local Labour council. And she got that by just simply lying about her background when she went for the interview. Now, how did people find out about this? Basically, somebody recognized her, that she was on the front page of the Southwark Housing News, which is like a local government magazine that they put out there talking about the issues. And she was working for local government. Just no problem. Because nobody checked. Anyway, when they found out, they were like obviously immediately removed from her position. But during her time working for the council, she had access to a database, all the voting database. She also had access to a database of people who were deemed vulnerable because she was working with specialist housing services. So, yeah. They say she didn't have any access to confidential policing.
You just cut out again. Say that again.
She didn't have any access to any like police, special police information. Yeah. But yeah, so jailed terrorist straight out of prison, 2 years to work her way up into a job in a council. And then people wonder why with stories like this, which sure, they're outliers. I'm not saying that happens every week, but the fact that it happens at all is why people get fucking worried, isn't it? I imagine having the balls, having been jailed for terrorism, to walk into a local government office and be like, yeah, anything to declare? No convictions, no nothing. Yeah, just guilty of that terrorism thing, but I'm sure you won't check. And to get a job and work their way up. And then people are like, yeah, I don't know if our immigration can really do a good job of keeping track of all of the bad elements within them, which I'm sure are a tiny, tiny percentage, but they exist nonetheless. You're racist, aren't you, mate? Yep, good point. Yep, sorry, I'll be quiet. And the same thing happened in Germany, which again we've covered on the show, where people literally worked their way up into the upper echelons of the German intelligence services and the German police force, despite being jihadis. Like, just, yeah, no problem. It's all good. So there you have it. Anyway, let's go into the next bit. Harvey Weinstein. Harvey fucking Weinstein, Sam. I'm guessing you heard about this while you...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just checking. So I think we can just start right off the bat by saying that obviously Harvey Weinstein is a disgusting and vile human being, and I feel comfortable saying that.
Yeah, did you hear that audio tape?
Oh yeah, we're gonna play it.
Shit, mate, that is like evil. I was like, I was literally, I was feeling like gross. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Now, this is one of the reasons why a lot of... Because we know that...
Right, let's take a short break. We're going to switch back, and we'll be back in a sec, I think.
Right,
this is getting unreasonable. Back.
Okay, so we'll give that a try. Let me know if it does...
Oh, just cut out instantly.
Right, so we're back. So anyway, as I was saying, Harvey Weinstein. Okay? I mean... This is one of the reasons why people have an issue with, like, Hollywood lecturing anyone about anything. And that is that we all know that there's shit that goes on in Hollywood. I mean, you only have to look at... You've got kids being raised by fucking nannies. Like, you know, like how children of Hollywood stars, sometimes they grow up, they completely divorced from reality, you know, fucking get into their own shit. And, you know, they're either airheads or drug addicts or, you know, it's got problems. And the one thing we definitely know about is casting couch culture and how that's a very real and well-documented thing. And it's fucking gross and fucking disgusting that it exists still to this day. So when the Harvey Weinstein shit first broke, people have been joking about this for years. For years about Harvey Weinstein specifically. Everybody's now seen the clip of Seth MacFarlane from a few years ago, which he apparently did because one of the actresses in the film Ted had been approached, shall we say, by Harvey Weinstein. Right? Courtney Love. Obviously, never shy.
Yeah.
There's 2005, right? Did you check this out?
Yeah, I saw that interview. Like, have you got any advice for young actresses?
Yeah, here you go.
Harvey Weinstein.
We'll play that.
Give the old 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay. This bottom clip, yeah, the YouTube one.
Just the one I just sent you on Skype there, yeah.
Right. There's 2 different ones. TMZ clip, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just the top one. Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, from Szechuan. Do you have any advice for a young girl moving to Hollywood? I'll get lively with us.
Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party and the 4 Seasons steps out.
And the fact she said about the libel thing is like she knows that other people have tried to out him and he's threatened them. It sounds like.
And other people have done that, mate. And it's fucking insane. because how deep this rabbit hole goes is it's unbelievable. So first of all, let's just get a handle on the accusers, because again, innocent until proven guilty, right? Definitely. But what I will say,
yeah, but that audio recording, like,
yeah, right?
evidence helps.
But what I will say as well is kind of like with the Bill Cosby thing, where it's like 40 accusers all come out in a short space of time. Like one goes first, and then it's just like dominoes, and they're like, "Yeah, I've been living scared for 30 years, but now someone else has come out. I feel comfortable doing it," and blah blah blah, and on and on and on it goes. Like once it gets to that point, like even if 39 are lying, you still did it. You know, what are the fucking odds? What are the odds that like these unrelated people, these non-connected people decided out of the fucking blue to concoct a conspiracy to take down this guy? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. There's not even a motive to do it now. You know, it's wild as fuck. So, Elle have got like, they've been keeping a tab of some, I will say, certainly, I don't think it's updated because this is a couple of days old now. But just look at some of the names on this fucking list and ask yourself whether these people will be coming out and be fucking lying about it. You got Ashley Judd, right? She told the New York Times that Harvey Weinstein had her up to a room. He came out in a bathrobe and said, "Will you give me a massage or watch me have a shower?" You know, one of the things that really stood out to me was, and keep in mind, there's allegations of actual fucking rape in this, right? But a lot of the allegations are just so gross, like, they're just fucking
creepy, deviant shit.
Yeah, it's just too much, mate. Like, just, will you be willing to watch me have a shower? Like, fuck off, you fucking gross sleazeball. Like, it's unreal. Zoe Brock put a Medium post out saying when she was a model, she was used to predatory men who would become adept at brushing off unwanted advances and putting creepy perverts in their place. She felt sorry for him one night and went out of her way to be nice to him. And then she ended up alone in a hotel room and he was doing shit, right? And then he apologized and started crying. Rose McGowan said Harvey Weinstein raped her. And do you know what happened to her? Twitter suspended her.
What?
Yeah. How nice, right? That's Twitter, the platform for social justice that supports feminists. They suspended her for speaking about her rape experience. And keep in mind, it's not like she went first or anything. This is after all the other evidence is out there, the recording. She came out, Twitter suspended her. This is another thing I was going to segue on. I don't know if we'll have time, but just to make the point, this is why if you ever support censorship, guess who gets it next? It's you. Every fucking time. That's why when you're saying, yes, ban all these people with the Pepe avatars, brilliant. Then, and guess what else Twitter are going to do? They're going to protect their little corporate interests, same as every other corporation in America. And if you start making allegations about people like that, and then maybe there's some money involved, you're going to be silenced. You're giving them the license to do it. You're giving them the tools to do it. You're the ones telling them to put it in their terms of service. So Rose McGowan got suspended. Laura Madden, who worked for Harvey Weinstein, said that he asked her for massages. This is the other thing, by the way. One of the things you'll always look for in serial allegations is a pattern, you know, an MO, modus operandi, how people like to operate. There's no way these people, completely independent of each other, his MO was you would come to his hotel room, he'd strip off naked and ask for a massage. How are they all getting this detail correct? Lisa Campbell, artist and writer, said that Harvey Weinstein took her to a hotel room and said, "Do you want to jump in the bath with me?" She left. Lauren Sivan told Megyn Kelly that Weinstein cornered her, and she's the journalist who, and there was a whole story on this, which I'll just link you to so you can bring it up while I talk over it. because the details of this are so fucking repellent. It blows my fucking mind. She was in his place, and he stood, and he's obviously a super fat dude, you know, and he stood in a doorway so she couldn't get out, and then just started jerking off. And he jetted into a pot plant.
What the fuck is wrong with this cunt?
Mate, it's wild.
Like, you know his mind is fucked, right? Because he was one of the most successful people in Hollywood, made all these great films. It's not like you know what I mean? I'm sure he could get a woman, right? But it's just, what is this creepy shit?
He's married!
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, not anymore, that's based.
Yeah, well, that was the other fucking thing. That was moderately hilarious, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. He came out, put a statement out saying, my wife will stand by me during this. She came out immediately afterwards. Oh, no.
Nah.
We're getting divorced. Like, I had a prenup. I'll fucking see you much, much later. Right? It goes on. Asia Argento, that's the legendary Dario Argento's daughter, Jessica Barth, Amanda de Corns, Dawn Dunning, Ambra Batalana Gutierrez, Mira Sorvino, Lucia Stoller, Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, Rosanna Arquette, Judith Godrèche, Catherine Kendall, Tommy Ann Roberts, Louisette Geiss, Ramala Garai, Heather Graham, all top actresses, models, you know, Cara Delevingne, Leia Seydoux, Claire Filani, Florence Durrell. I'm still going on. Sophie Dix, Kate Beckinsale, Melissa Sage Miller, Minka Kelly. Like, how is anyone batting for this fucking guy at this point? Like, because they were. Understand, right, that when Donald Trump did his pathetic grab him by the pussy line, and again, it's important for context that we remember the quote. He didn't say, I have grabbed anyone by the pussy. He said, quote, this is the exact word for word quote, not that it makes it any, well, it makes it better, but it's still a pathetic thing to say. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful women. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a big star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. This has always been changed to, I just grab him by the pussy, which isn't what he says. Now, sure, maybe the implication is that he has done that, in which case, you know, fuck him for sure. But it's a pathetic thing to say regardless. What I found was interesting was a lot of people were attacking Donald Trump rather than Harvey Weinstein off the back of this until things got really bad. Because they were going, well, we've got a president who says it's okay. Well, hang on. It's not the fucking set. How can you make the comparison? What he said is pathetic. He doesn't have people actually saying publicly, yeah, I was raped by this individual. I was raped in exchange. You know, like he paid me off with a job or whatever. And everybody knew about it in Hollywood. And then it still took like 5 days before anyone came out and criticized Harvey Weinstein. And I don't know if it's because of fear or if it's just because of money, right? So the New Yorker did a write-up at the time while these allegations were still breaking. Oh, keep in mind, before we even get into that, the excuse Harvey Weinstein gave was insane, right? When the stories first started breaking, Harvey Weinstein literally said the reason why he did these things was because that's just how it was in the 60s and 70s. You know, I know women who were alive in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I don't think that's just how it was. Like, I can't remember. No. My nan told me loads of stories about when she was in the 70s, you know, groovy 70s, all the drugs. Never no wanking implants. Never heard any wanky pot plant. Like, I haven't heard that one.
So just listen to this. He gave a statement to the New York Times. Pay close attention to the words New York and occasionally Times within the context of why Weinstein wasn't crucified immediately. right? Why it took further allegations, because there is this elitist clique that were working to try and dig him out of the hole. So he was allowed to give a statement to the New York Times. And in it, he said, I came of age in the 60s and 70s when all the rules about behavior and workplaces were different. That was the culture then. I'm pretty sure there isn't a workplace in the world where a guy can just, watch this, lads.
And you want to watch me shower?
Yeah, just rub one out into a potted plant, like. Or hey, everybody, anyone want to give me a massage, and just start taking your shirt off. But, I don't remember that. It never came up in any documentaries or anything, did it? Fuck's he talking about? And it's just a fucking disgraceful, pathetic, embarrassing excuse to justify some of the most debauched fucking crimes like a human being can perpetrate. So anyway, the New Yorker did this right upon it. It's pretty good. And you can see here, from aggressive overtures to sexual assault, Harvey Weinstein's accusers tell their stories. It's pretty long. Give it a read. But in there, if you scroll about halfway down, you will see the tape recording, Sam, that I believe was exclusively put out by the New Yorker, if I remember correctly. And it's interesting, isn't it, that this tape was out there and it took the New Yorker to publish it, not a mainstream newspaper or mainstream website. It was actually the New Yorker, more of a sort of op-ed kind of thing that did it. So, just we can 3, 2, 1 this. It's about 2
How did they get this audio as well? When I hear it, I didn't see the backstory. Was it a sting, or was it just happened to be from the hotel? Or
it was an NYPD sting operation.
All right.
So understand just how deep this goes. By the way, this is a recording from a police sting operation in New York, and yet none of this is out in the public domain. In fact, stories have been actively quashed, as I'm going to show you. So this is what I mean. Understand the kind of evil you perpetrate when you cover shit like this up, because anybody that it happened to after that point, well, that's on you. If you were one of the people who if you were a journalist who refused to publish this recording, all the victims after the point you were aware and you didn't do your job, that's on you. You're responsible. If you were one of the media companies that quelled this story, it's on you. You see, it's really easy. You had the chance to stop this and you didn't. You can't call out a victim who is afraid for not coming forward sooner. I saw a lot of people doing that, saying, well, why didn't you come forward, eh? Why didn't you come forward sooner? People wanted to blame you because this guy is a power broker in Hollywood. These people want to work. It's like you get molested twice if then you come out publicly and you get scrutinized and you don't know how many other people it's happened to, so you might be standing alone, and then you never work again in the industry. This happened with Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman came out and said, Hollywood is full of pedophiles. This is a child actor who said he was passed around like a fucking party favor, right? And was molested by like high-level Hollywood executives along with almost every other child actor in the machine. Right? And Corey Feldman had all these problems with drugs and addiction, and nobody asked why. Nobody said, that's all childhood actors go that way. I wonder why. Right?
It's almost like there's something ruining their life as soon as they become famous.
So I'm going to show you this now just to put it into context. This is how fucked the mentality is around Hollywood, right? When Corey Feldman went on The View, he came out, and this is just a 1-minute clip. It shows you the kind of attitude that when victims try and come forward. So anyone who's saying, well, why don't more victims come forward? Everybody waits for who's going to go first because nobody wants to be the person stood alone because you get wrecked by the media. It's mad, isn't it? I've said this a bunch of times that I don't believe that we exist in a misogynistic tyranny that terrorizes women, but there are certain industries, certain businesses where this shit absolutely goes on, where women and children are terrorized by powerful men, you know, and it's fucked up. And Hollywood's definitely one of them, which is why I don't want to take my fucking social cues from Hollywood, if that's all right with you. I don't want to take the sermonizing that you've got. Your industry's a fucking sewer and has been for years. Same as politics. I don't want my moral sermonizing to come from a politician who's embezzling public money and fucking anything that throws a shadow. Thank you very much. I'll take it from people that don't work in a provably corrupt industry if it's all the same, right? But look, just play this Corey Feldman clip and just watch what happened to him when he went on The View to talk about this.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are
and they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're pedophiles?
Yes.
And that they're still in this business?
Yes.
That's what, and that's what you were saying in your book. When you talk to when you talk to
and
parents,
they don't want me here right now. Trust
Corey,
me. They want me dead.
There are a lot of parents out here who want to put their kids in this business. Their kids are cute, they're great actors. Da, da, da. What would you say to a parent who just has the best of intentions, who's coming here with their child? If you're saying that there's a lot of predators in this industry.
It's a many-feathered bird. Okay? Be careful what you wish for. That's what I'll tell you. You know, don't go into it with naivety. Don't go into it thinking that it's all roses and sunglasses.
You're damaging an entire industry.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to say that it's a very important, serious topic.
You said that there was one gentleman in the industry who did not take advantage of you. He was not a pedophile. You said that was Michael Jackson.
Of all people.
So, I mean, we'll ignore the Michael Jackson guy. I think we know how that worked out, but... Yeah. But you know, he's getting called out, basically saying, "Hey, you're ruining a whole industry by airing the dirty laundry." And so it is for these women that wanted to come out and talk about Harvey Weinstein, and instead we've had to kind of, you know, hopefully read a code. You know, jokes at award ceremonies, cryptic comments from Courtney Love, and all of this was meant to light the torch paper where people come out, and it's just so fucking shameful that now that it's out, we're still tiptoeing around this, you know? And look, this isn't a left or a right thing. I'm not going to make this a left or a right thing. Trump's going to figure into it a little bit, right? But look, when Bill O'Reilly was doing it, it was fucking bad, obviously. And again, there was a ton of accusations, and it wasn't particularly big news, was it?
I haven't even heard of the Bill O'Reilly story. What happened?
Well, Bill O'Reilly settles.
Oh, what? He's had like previous sexual harassment charges that he settled.
Yeah. That's why he's not on Fox anymore. He says it was all a hit job, but if you go and you read up, you know, female journalists have come forward and said that he's done some things and blah blah blah. But again, he settled out of court. I mean, he settled out of court massively to try and keep. He said to stop his children having to go through all the lurid details coming out. But he also maintains his innocence. But again, this isn't front page shit. So it exists on both the right and the left. This is what I mean. The industries are fucked. The industries are fucked. Media industries, Hollywood, politics. There's people just out there just thinking like they're just fucking, you know, demigods that can just do whatever they want to whoever they want. And people actively protect them. There is machinery in place to protect them. Right? So play this tape. And it's mental, guys. I've got to prepare you for this. This is so disturbing. This is really fucking disturbing because this is an NYPD sting operation.
Isn't this a successful sting? Isn't this what the whole point of the sting was, to get this tape?
Yeah, you'd think so. But yeah, just play it.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm telling you right now.
What do we have to do here?
Nothing. I'm going to take a shower. You sit there and have a drink. Water.
I don't drink.
Then
Can I stay on the bar?
No, you must come here now.
No.
Please.
No, I don't want to.
I'm not doing anything with you. I'm
I
now
know,
you're embarrassing me.
I'm sorry. I cannot. No, yesterday was a kind of aggressive for me. I need to know a person to be touched.
I won't do a thing.
I don't want
do a thing, please. I swear I won't. Just sit with me. Don't embarrass me in the hotel. I'm here all the time.
I
sit
know,
with me.
but
I
I
promise.
don't want to.
Please sit there. Please. 1 minute.
No,
I ask
can't.
you. Go to the bathroom.
Please, I don't want to do something I don't want
Go to the bathroom. Come here. Listen to me.
I want to go downstairs.
I'm not going to do anything. You'll never see me again after this. Okay? That's it. If you embarrass me in this hotel,
I'm not embarrassing you. It's just that I don't feel comfortable.
Honey, don't have a fight with me in the hallway.
Not nice.
Please, I'm not going to do anything. I swear, my children. Please come in.
I swear, my children.
On everything. I'm a famous guy.
I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now.
Please come in now. And 1 minute. And if you want to leave, when the guy comes with my jacket,
yesterday you touched my breast.
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that.
But
Come on.
are you used to that?
Yes, come in.
No, but I'm not used to that.
I won't do it again. Come on. Sit here. Sit here for a minute, please.
No, I don't want to.
If you do this now, you will embarrass me. But no. Never call me again. Okay? I'm sorry. I promise you I won't do anything.
I know, but yesterday was too much.
The guy is coming. I will never do another thing to you. 5 minutes. Don't ruin your friendship with me for 5 minutes.
I know, but it's kind of like, it's too much for me. I can't.
Please, you're making a big scene here.
No,
please.
but I want to leave.
Okay, goodbye. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say, mate. It's so fucking awful to hear that. Right? He admits on tape to having groped that woman the day before.
And says he's used to it.
Yeah, and just like that's just how it is. But then all these like really, this is what I mean. It's the power disparity.
Yeah.
You know, don't ruin your friendship with me. I'm a big guy in Hollywood and all this. Like,
don't embarrass me. I'm here all the time.
Now this tape has been out for it's existed for 2 years, over 2 years. It's been there for 2 years, and the New Yorker is reporting that there's 13 women just from the late 90s to 2015 that say they were sexually assaulted. And now we're getting people coming out. This is prior to Rose McGowan's allegations of the rape. It's fucking insane. Now, this is where it starts to get really bad. Because if you think listening to that tape's uncomfortable, again, I want you to imagine if that's like somebody you know, like a friend, partner, sister, mother, aunt, whatever. Imagine, like, this is a big dude and a powerful dude. And he's not just bullying them by threatening them to take their job and works away or whatever. There is a real menacing undercurrent there. And you're a woman and you're alone and there's this big guy and he's trying to force you into a hotel room for just 5 minutes. I mean, fuck me. That this is unforgivable. So the New York Times, which didn't report this story, actually wrote an op-ed trying to defend Harvey Weinstein. It's mental. Right? The New York Times wrote an op-ed trying to defend this. Right? The columnist tweeted it out and said, a defense of sorts for Harvey Weinstein. And it was by Brett Stevens, is the journalist. Let me just see if I can find you the tweet, actually, so you can bring it up. So we're in, here it is. So we're in no, I'm not misrepresenting his views. I don't want people to think I'm misrepresenting his views. This is the tweet with a link to the article where he says, a defense of sorts for Harvey Weinstein. Now, what he says is that the key line is this: hyenas cannot help their own nature. But I know. But the work of a morally sentient society is to prevent them from taking over the savannah. So it's our fault.
Oh, yeah. So, he's a rapist, but, rapist, and he rapes. Rapist gonna rapes. Like, how is that reasonable? How is that? Oh, yeah, that's just how it goes. So, again, just if you're in any doubt about the existence of a cliquey elitist network that serves the ends, the goals, the purposes of a select few people. Imagine a New York Times, the publication, that in New York, where Harvey Weinstein's from and does a lot of his business, actually having the fucking audacity
at the height of the allegations, before more even come out, to kind of try and explain them away. It is like truly baffling as to why any editor would sign off and think that that is appropriate. And then on top of that, remember when Donald Trump said the thing, and obviously he got wrecked for saying the thing, as well he should, because it's a deplorable thing to say. He got wrecked on all the Saturday night shows. Well, the Saturday night shows just ignored it. They didn't do any jokes about it. It took them like 5-7 days before they even acknowledged it was happening. Now, just before I'm gonna show you some shocking stuff here, but let me see if I can find as well how this story was covered up. I want to see if here it is. So why didn't the New York Times run this story about this sting operation? Why didn't it come out sooner? Here's a write-up on The Wrap, which was a direct response to the op-ed, saying Harvey Weinstein's media enablers, the New York Times, is one of them. And what it talks about here, if you scroll down, saying that this is from a journalist who tried to report the story and the New York Times didn't run it. And they didn't run it because the Weinsteins and other actors, Matt Damon, Russell Crowe, called up and pressured the newsroom to drop the story, saying there's no way that he did this to this individual and blah, blah, blah. Now they're coming out and denying that. Those actors are going, never happened. This is one of those rare occasions I'm inclined to trust a journalist.
Yeah, I saw Matt Damon, like his statement was, "Oh, I didn't get told what the story was about. I was told that someone was saying something bad about Harvey and to call and say that I've had nothing but good times with him." All right, yeah, I'm sure you had no idea what it was going to be about.
So they all came out, right, and fucking and said this, and basically tried to suppress this story. So it gets even worse because, well, fuck it. More and more we turn to comedy, don't we, for our news, for our satire, right? Like to lampoon the things that other people won't touch. We know the media are in cahoots, and even though the media conglomerates own these Saturday night comedy shows, at least maybe we can rely on them. Yeah, well, they didn't. In fact, Saturday Night Live, the one place you would expect them to fucking actually bring this up, they didn't. They refused to do it. This is, again, the New York Times, in a desperate bid to deflect, threw Saturday Night Live under the bus. Saturday Night Live prepped jokes about Harvey Weinstein, then shelved them. So they didn't want to, they thought, grab them by the pussy, we'll talk about that for weeks. Someone actually going out and sexually assaulting leading actresses, leading models, co-workers, having been caught in a police sting on tape, admitting to having done it and trying to do it again. Nah, that's a bit much, isn't it? We shouldn't touch that, really. Shouldn't touch that. So they shelved it. They killed that fucking story. Now, here's the worst part. The guy behind it is a guy called Lorne Michaels, Saturday Night Live. When asked by the media, why did you not run these jokes? Why are you ignoring the Harvey Weinstein thing? Do you know what he said?
What's that?
He said, yeah, it's just a New York thing.
What do you mean? What's a New York thing?
We will not criticize Harvey Weinstein because it's a New York thing, because he's from New York. Donald Trump's from New York, for starters. But yeah, he said we didn't do a bit about it because it's a New York thing. Because he's from New York, we don't feel comfortable. That actually happened. That's real. So you can't even rely on the comedy shows. Now, they did come out and attack him the last Saturday night, the last few late night shows that have been on. But what they're doing now is they're trying to deflect and make it about Donald Trump. because they don't want to hold Harvey Weinstein entirely accountable for his own actions. Hillary Clinton, who's been selling her book, you might have seen her signing copies of it in Costco, always cheers me up to not see that corrupt piece of shit in the White House.
I've got to tell you this. Hillary Clinton was recently in Swansea University receiving an honorary doctorate.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I saw it on the news. Like, Jesus.
Fucking jack bastards.
You've had an
hello.
Right, we're back.
So there you go. Look at this. Hillary Clinton came out, and keep in mind, it took her she took money from Harvey Weinstein to fund her campaign. And again, look, on both sides, Trump and Clinton, this is what politicians do, isn't it? They take money from, horrible sources. I mean, there's some corporations out there, isn't there, right, which would take money from, they give money to politicians, and they do ridiculous things. Like, we're just going to suck all the water out of this country where people don't have water, and then we're going to bottle it and sell it to Americans, and we're not going to pay any tax. Is that all right? Yep. Just keep those campaign contributions coming in. So obviously politics on both sides is fraught with campaign contributions. And honestly, there's probably worse entities than Harvey Weinstein giving money to Clinton and Trump, right? Whatever. But anyway, Hillary Clinton didn't want to disavow, which is weird, because every time Donald Trump has a conversation with anybody who's had a conversation with somebody else and then somebody else, he has to disavow immediately. And even when he disavows, everyone ignores the fact that he disavowed. But Hillary Clinton wasted no time after 5 days to now talk about how it was really Trump's fault all along. She says she's shocked and appalled by the allegations aimed at Weinstein. This is in a report in the BBC where she did an interview with Andrew Marr. And she said, I really commend the women who've been willing to step forward and tell their stories. And she says it's important that we not just focus on him, meaning Weinstein, but we recognize this kind of behavior can't be tolerated anywhere. After all, we have someone who admits to sexual assault in the Oval Office. He's never admitted to it, never did anything of the sort, but I guess this is now the narrative. So Hillary Clinton's out there happy to lie. I mean, that goes without saying. That's pretty much what she's done all of her fucking life, really. I wouldn't even just limit it to adult life. She is one of the most grotesque habitual liars we've had in the American political system. But you see, this is going to be the pushback now, how it's really about Trump. It's not about Weinstein. It's about Trump. What a disgraceful way to treat the victims of Harvey Weinstein's predatory practices, to make it about somebody else, to not talk about their stories, what's happened to them. Let's use it to sell more space. Let's use it to get more views, more clicks by talking about Trump. Jimmy Kimmel did the same thing, came out and said, Hillary Clinton has taken campaign money from 2 sexual assaulters, and that's Harvey Weinstein and Donald Trump, who donated to Hillary's campaign in 2008. So again, you'll notice we're just glossing over Weinstein, and what is now at least 20 people having come out. A lot of the major players in Hollywood in their own right coming out and saying they've either been raped or sexually assaulted. We'll just ignore that and we can talk about Trump some more, can't we? That's all right. Who cares? Who cares about the victims? Fuck it. This is the media apparatus. Got to keep it going, yeah? And then, of course, you can see that over in Variety, they decided to go with, hey, Tina Brown compares Harvey Weinstein to Donald Trump. What a surprise. It's almost as if some little, collusion was going on. Some emails, were coming out. This is somebody who worked with Harvey Weinstein for 4 years, and says, what I learned about Harvey from 2 years of close proximity to him was that nothing about his outward persona was true. And then she said, he is very Trumpian in that regard. Like, what? Trumpian? Is that an adjective now? Is this where we're at? Why can't we just talk about this one dude who did something absolutely unforgivable, talk about the victims and how we're going to like sort of make it right and what we're going to do about it moving forward. Because immediately what we're starting to see now is more and more people are talking about the insanity of Hollywood and the debauchery and how things that are just morally reprehensible are just taken as part and parcel of a life out there. And just to finish the show, we're not going to get round to Twitter censorship because we've got to do by the numbers coming up in a few minutes. But let me just show you this. Now, out of all the people, and this really is an eye-opener, out of all the people that talked about their sexual abuse in Hollywood, the one person, well, first of all, obviously I was expecting it to be like not male, you know, like not a lot of men coming forward, but those that did, like, oh, it happened to me when I was a kid. You know, the Hollywood pedophile thing is pretty well documented at this point. And it's not just Corey that's out there saying it, but Terry Crews, mate. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did see that.
Terry Crews, who is a massive guy, the Old Spice guy, he came out and talked about what happened, how he was sexually assaulted. Now, this is mental because Terry Crews, like, this is how drunk with power these fucking executives are. Because Terry Crews is fucking huge. He's 240 pounds of solid muscle.
Yeah.
And these people just felt like, yeah, we'll just go up, we'll just molest, we'll just have a go at Terry Crews. All right, so here you go. This is just
squeeze for no reason.
So here you go. This is a tweet with sort of screenshots of all of his tweets, and if you want to bring them up. So I'll start. He did it backwards. So so it's backwards. So you need the second picture first. So he said, the whole thing with Harvey Weinstein is giving me PTSD. Why? Because this kind of thing happened to me. My wife and I were at a Hollywood function last year, and a high-level Hollywood executive came over to me and groped my privates. It's Terry fucking Crews! What are you doing? In front of his wife at a party. Just grabbed up and grabbed Terry Crews' dick. Jumping back, I said, what are you doing? My wife saw everything and we looked at him like he was crazy. He just grinned like a jerk. I was going to kick his ass right then, but I thought twice about how the whole thing would appear. 240 pounds black man stomps out Hollywood honcho would be the headline next day. Only I wouldn't have been able to read it because I would have been in jail. So we left. That night and the next day, I talked to everyone I knew that worked with him about what happened. And he called me the next day with an apology, but never explained why he did what he did. I decided not to take it further because I didn't want to be ostracized. Par for the course when the predator has power and influence. I let it go, and I understand why many women who let this happen to let it go. Who's going to believe you? Few. What are the repercussions? Many. Do you want to work again? Yes. Are you prepared to be ostracized? No. I love what I do, but it's a shame and the height of disappointment when someone tries to take advantage of that. He knows who he is, but sometimes you have to wait and compare notes with others who've been victimized in order to gain a position of strength. I understand and empathize with those who have remained silent, but Harvey Weinstein is not the only perpetrator. Hollywood is not the only business where this happens, and to the casualties of this behavior, you are not alone. Hopefully, me coming forward with my story will deter a predator and encourage someone who feels hopeless, making Terry Crews an absolute fucking baller.
Yeah, I know, as if he wasn't big enough one already. Just playing games and shit on Twitch all the time, just having a laugh.
Yeah. Fucking what a legend.
One of the rippest motherfucker of all time as well.
Yeah. But it's what I mean, you know, like people, anybody out there that think that, you know, oh, yeah, it's easy. Like if Terry Crews, like this just underlines how fucked up it all is, you know? So anyway, that's the Weinstein stuff. Obviously, there's you know, plenty more where that came from, but the whole thing is just so fucking sordid. And this is why, again, if you're looking at these people to be your moral guidance, don't. Because it's like the last days of fucking Sodom over in Hollywood. It's no exaggeration, mate. There's so much stuff that goes on that don't get fucking talked about. And Harvey Weinstein is the fucking hulking, disgusting, greasy fucking, you know, monument to that. So anyway, that's where we're going to end the show. We're going to wrap it up quick. There was some other stuff to talk about, but we're already running 5 minutes late for By the Numbers, and Thorin got to get that motherfucking Skrilla. So thanks to everybody who tuned in. Thanks to everybody who subscribed. Thanks to everybody who donated. All of that good stuff. If you're watching it on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with a pretty regular schedule for the next couple of weeks because I'm not as busy without the CSGO playoffs being on. And me and Sam are probably going to cast some CS games and whatnot. So you be sure to follow the Twitch channel. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. And to all the people who are watching live, we're going to be back in about 5-10 minutes and we're going to start By the Numbers. So we'll see you in a moment.